It's nice and cozy down here. Free food, occasional music, peaceful bliss. Oh, rent is due, but you have nothing to pay for it. Don't worry, this is the first of many evictions. You are wet and it's a bit cold. Bunch of people are staring at you, waiting for you to scream. Good, you're alive. Welcome to the overwhelming hell. Your first accomplishment, survival. Good job. Too bad your mom didn't make it. For no apparent reason, you are born with a massive hole in your skull. But don't worry, it closes up eventually, provided nothing terrible happens first. You are born at the pinnacle of the food chain, but it's mainly for your brains, not your brawn, so be careful. Literally anything can be fatal. Even the water you so desperately need to survive. If this was the wild, everything would be trying to kill you. But don't worry, your progenitors spent their entire existence making sure you have four walls surrounding and protecting you. As a newborn, you are so weak that even your body weight is too much for your muscles. Luckily, it's not your job to think about anything yet, and your elders will feed you and ensure your protection, unless they die first. It happens all the time. This is also the happiest you will ever be, but don't worry, you will not remember any of this. You are now 1 year old. You've tripled your mass and learned to crawl. Now let's hope you don't catch dysentery, as the concept of germs has not been invented for another 200 years. Out of your 10 siblings, your father seems to have a favorite, your older brother. But don't take it personally. This isn't about love, it's about survival. Statistically, only one of you will make it past the age of 18. Let's just hope it's you. At 5, you're old enough to fetch water and feed the chickens. Congrats, you are now officially free labor for the family. Your routine starts to tighten. You wake up before sunrise, not because you want to, but because your father decided that sleep is a privilege you haven't earned yet. You're assigned your first mission, getting water. The well is far, the bucket is heavy, and your tiny arms aren't built for this. But that doesn't matter. Water must be fetched. If you don't bring water, you and your family don't drink today. So hold on very tight to that bucket. If you drop it, it's gone. Your family can get another child. They cannot get another bucket. You're almost home, so make sure you don't spill it. Oh, well, you have to go back now. And make sure you get back before it's dark, or the wolves will eat you. Good job. You have made it home before dark and you brought water. If you're looking for praise, there isn't any. You have just contributed to survival of your family, and that is a requirement. Your next task is feeding the chickens. It sounds easy, but only if you haven't met a chicken. Turns out, they don't like you. They don't like anything. These creatures exist only for one purpose: chaos. They scream, eat, and ruin your day. Your routine is set. Wake up, work, sleep, repeat. But you are getting older, which means you can do more. And if you can do more, you will do more. You are no longer just free labor. You are now a liability that must contribute. Oh, and everything around you is still trying to kill you. You spend most of your days working in the sun. And if you're not careful, you will die of heat stroke. Basically, it's a medieval equivalent of an internship. Long hours, no pay, and no one cares if you collapse. That shade looks nice, but don't think about resting there. Snakes love a good nap, and so do spiders. The bigger the shade, the more likely it is to be claimed by something deadly. By the way, stay away from horses. It might look like they enjoy helping you out, but they don't. They don't like you. They don't like anything. They're just a 400-kilogram panic attack with hooves. Oh, and the wolves are still a thing. They come out at night, so if you're outside when that happens, well... You've survived childhood. I'm proud of you. You are now slightly less useless, which means that people are now looking at you like an investment. And investments must have returns. It's time for your first actual job, and for that, you need to learn. However, education is not for you. Reading is for rich people and priests. And you can't afford to go to school. You will learn math from counting sacks of grain that you spilled, or how much your family owes in taxes, which is always too much. Your education is more practical. If you're lucky, you will get an apprenticeship. Blacksmithing, farming, maybe even carpentry. The best part is there's no OSHA, no safety training. Your training consists mostly of messing up and making sure you never do that again. Assuming you still have all your fingers. For the first time in your life, your father isn't yelling at you. He isn't even looking at you like a disappointment. No, this time he's nodding. He's pleased. That's because today is special. Today, you get to kill your first cow. Don't be weird, this is an honor. A real man provides for his family, and that means knowing how to kill something bigger than you with something much smaller than it. Try not to mess this up. Congratulations, you are now a man. The fact that you survived this long is a miracle. You're not quite an adult yet, but you're no longer a child. You're too young to own land, but old enough to work for someone who does. And for some reason, you're starting to appreciate this kind of life. Even though it's mostly filled with work and misery, you can afford go drinking at a pub, oh, never mind. Your kingdom just went to war because the noble that owns you got insulted by a guy from the next village, and you have to fight. Here's a sword, good luck. But don't be scared. Dying in battle isn't even your biggest concern. You're far more likely to die from the weather, or starvation, or wolves. Oh look, your first enemy. It's another peasant from a different village. He looks about as excited to be here as you are. Better hope nobody finds out. You return to your village surviving the war. That means you're marriage material now. Not because you're special, but because half of the other men are dead. That's right, it's time for the medieval version of Tinder. There's no swiping left though. This is a transaction, not a preference. Your father just traded 3 goats, a sack of grain, and his best cow for a wife. You have never met her. She has never met you. But congratulations, you are now legally bound for life. No takebacks, you are now a husband. You have no idea what you're doing, but that doesn't matter. You must now make children. Oh, well, that was fast. This overcomplicated bag of fluids is your legacy. You must protect it at all costs. And protect you will, because the screaming meat goblin is ridiculously fragile. If you drop it, it dies. If the wind blows too hard, it also dies. If it looks at you funny, you die. Good thing replacements are free though. You now must work twice as hard to provide for your constantly growing family. But your age clearly has a toll on you. You wake up and your back hurts. You go to bed and your back still hurts. You sneeze and your ribs hurt. You breathe and, yeah, you get the point. Your body is starting to betray you. You used to run through fields with ease, but now every step feels like it comes with a personal vendetta. And yet, nobody cares. There is no retirement, no pension, no days off. You work until you drop. Nobody's simply going to donate you food. And if you can't work, you better hope you raise enough kids to do it for you. Which brings us to your favorite part of being a parent. Choosing a favorite, not because you love them more, but because they're the most useful. You just hope they don't die randomly like the others. Your life begins to feel extremely fast. Months, even years, are flying by you like a drunken horse on an icy road. One moment you are a strong and capable worker, the next your knees crack every time you stand up. You watch as your children grow taller and stronger. They lift heavier sacks of grain than you ever could. They drink faster, they fight harder, they work longer hours. And worst of all, they are starting to look at you like a liability. You've spent your life working, breaking your back for your family, your lord and your king, but now you are slow. And in a world where everything is trying to kill you, slow doesn't last long. Your once powerful hands now tremble while lifting a spoon. Your once sharp vision now struggles to recognize faces, and yet you are still alive. An accomplishment that only a few have ever experienced. You have made it further than most, but you don't feel victorious. Life has passed you by, and now you wait. One day, your body will just stop. No dramatic ending, no grand finale, just quiet. And eventually, no one will even remember that you existed.